let's get rolling in our first topic with the Loki trailer that dropped. So, Marcus, why don't you take us away with the Loki stuff?
Yeah, for sure. So just want to preface this by saying that I love the arc that they gave Loki before he died in Infinity War. I love that you never knew what he was gonna do, and then once you started to like him, he would just stab you in the back, and you're like, "Shit, man! I really wanted to like you," and then you're bad. Then in Ragnarok, he started turning the corner, only to get murdered like 5 minutes later. So that sucked. But fast forwarding to Endgame, it looks like the Loki we're gonna get in this show is obviously the bad one from the first Avengers movie. So we get to start all over with this arc again, which is going to be interesting to see. I think the first thing that stands out for me in the trailer was when they were in the elevator and you start to see the buttons for the floors. They're labeled weird things like random like letters and numbers like LK3 or VG2, TSL. And I'm wondering, and I want to ask you guys, I wonder if each floor is a different reality or timeline, like in the multiverse, because they're dealing with the agency, the TVA, which is the Time Variance Authority, and they're responsible, for monitoring the multiverse and making sure that order is established and that everything is okay. So, what do you guys think that means?
I think that's a good question.
I'm sorry.
You could be onto something, Marcus. I think it could be different realities because I think in one part of the trailer they walked out of the elevator and they go through like that transparent little like when you jump through a Mario painting in Mario 64 and you go into a new world, kind of that like little ripple.
Yeah.
So you have a point there. I think he is that is how it's gonna work. It's exciting because with so many possibilities out there, like who knows where this show can go. There's so many characters that we've seen that may have passed on that could possibly maybe bring back. Probably not, but maybe different variations of them too. So this show has so many possibilities, and I think that's a great lookout for that trailer.
Yeah, I was actually just gonna say, wouldn't it be cool if they were like, we saw Captain America, but obviously it's not Chris Evans, it's just some random person, or like a different Thor that's not Chris Hemsworth, just some random person, just in a totally different timeline. I think that's gonna be really cool.
Yeah.
Hopefully they explore that, and fingers crossed, because that would be awesome.
Yeah, I wonder. So, do you think there's potential for the show to maybe introduce the multiverse? I mean, I know that's coming, and I think we may have seen that a little bit in WandaVision, but Doctor Strange's second film is literally dedicated to that, based off the title. So, do you think they might even introduce a little hint to a multiverse, like even more so in Loki series? I didn't even think that.
Yeah, I think so, dude. I think that's I think they're gonna give us a little peek see into the direction they're gonna go. And it's because we do see weird things right in the trailer. Another thing is like the visuals; they're so effing sick. Like the shot with like the planet, or it was a planet or a moon. It was like crumbling in the background. And it looked like so cool. So hopefully, I mean, I do think that we're gonna get to see different realities. And I mean, I think they described it as being like a time hop journey, right? If I remember correctly.
Yeah.
Somebody described the show as being that. So maybe we'll see. But I'm definitely hopeful for that.
Yeah, I think
I love. Oh, I'm sorry.
the color palette, like the color palette and stuff, is really cool too. You can tell when they're hitting these different realities, and maybe these different time zones because there's a scene where it's a lot of purple. There's a scene where there's a lot of blue. I'm very intrigued to see how that's gonna unfold because it kind of looks like the colors from like Endgame and Infinity War a little bit at some points, and who knows if that's going to play a factor in this TV series. There was also a shot with what people say, I don't think it was, I could be wrong, but it looked like Black Widow he was talking to. Mm-hmm. And it's just, if they bring in these characters into this series, which they can do, it's gonna blow people's minds. Marvel's already blowing people's minds with Falcon and Winter Soldier and with WandaVision, so who knows if they're gonna up it a notch with Loki.
Yeah, for sure, man.
I love how Marvel is continuing to, and I don't even know if it's deliberate. I like to think it is. How each of their films and now their TV shows fulfills, a sort of like genre formula kind of thing. You know what I mean? Because apparently with Doctor Strange, we're getting a horror film. With a lot of Spider-Man films, especially Homecoming, was very like John Hughes '80s kind of feel to it. Teen romantic comedy drama thing. And then you have WandaVision. Then you have Falcon and Winter Soldier, which is basically this like overseas espionage kind of film, almost like a Born Identity feeling thing. And then you have Loki, which is, I don't know if it's like going to be more of like a heist kind of thing. I'm not sure. To be honest with you, I watched the trailer one time, and as soon as it ended, I was like, "What the hell? Like, what is going on? Like, what is this show even about?" Similar to how I watched the trailer for WandaVision, I had no clue. And now, after watching WandaVision and how much I love that, and after watching the Loki trailer and realizing I don't even know what this thing is about, there's so many things being thrown on my face at once. I can't wait for that series. I mean, I couldn't wait for the series anyway because Tom Hiddleston as Loki is probably one of my favorite characters in the whole MCU. I mean, the guy is he's absolutely brilliant as Loki. I couldn't see anybody else portraying that character. And honestly, I didn't even know who Tom Hiddleston was before he was in the first Thor movie as Loki. But I think he's, definitely captured a lot of people's hearts, especially after the first Avengers movie. He was absolutely incredible. So with that being said, just my lovely wife right there. I lost my train of thought. Thank you, Laura.
It's okay. I'll take it from
Loki.
Here. So one thing that I'm really intrigued about is the fact that we get to hone in on the eviler side of Loki. Marcus, like you said, we've seen Loki, kind of, keep us hopeful for him and see how he can actually be good. But the Loki we have now is not that good, So I'm intrigued to see if he stays, his sinister self, or if we do see him start to go back to how he was going to be, where he was going to be more heroic in a way, less deceptive. I mean, he's gonna still be deceptive, but in a better way, not in an evil, selfish way. So that's what I'm really excited to see. I just like how we can dive deeper into these characters that, I don't read Marvel comics. But I'm excited to see more about these characters through these TV series and future movies.
Yeah, man, absolutely. Less evil. What do you call it? What you just mentioned? We'll call it less scumbag. Not as much of a scumbag.
I don't know, man. I think it'll be both. I think they'll do both.
Yeah, probably both.
Loki.
Yeah, I'm just curious to see what kind of arc he's going to have during getting his own show, like what that looks like. I mean, but it's going to be great because, like you said, Kev, like every time he's on screen, he just like commands your attention. So to have a whole show centered on his character is going to be really fun.
I have no doubt in my mind that Tom Hiddleston can be the lead in a show and/or movie. So I love his character so much that I think we're definitely going to get just the typical Loki that we've always gotten, where you're just, I mean, he is the god of mischief, right? So you're supposed to be guessing every time. He seems to go one way and then he goes another way. And can we also talk about Owen Wilson being in this thing?
Yeah,
with gray hair and a mustache. I remember seeing an interview with Tom Hiddleston, and he did an amazing Owen Wilson impression. Wow. And just to see these two together is kind of wow. So I think their comedic timing and everything is going to be really good, and I think they're going to have a lot of great chemistry together in the show as well. So I was super. Did you guys know Owen Wilson was going to be in the show?
I didn't.
I did not.
I just watched that trailer and enjoyed every bit of banter they had. It was, what they teased is just exciting to see what's going to actually happen more with them. Him being what was it called, Marcus? That Time Bureau? What are they called?
TVA, Time Variance Authority.
Yeah, he's obviously either the head of it or, a higher up within that, whatever you call it, bureau. And I'm excited to see Loki stab him in the back 1,000 times, and whoever else he's supposed to be supporting, because obviously he's gonna do that. They teased it too, because he said, how do I know you're gonna stab me in the back? You've done it to the last 50 people. He's like, I'm done, I promise.
He was like, Loki, I literally watched you stab people in the back like 50 times.
I think it's gonna be a good show, man. I'm really looking forward to Loki. That's for sure.
And Marvel's been hanging out of the park, so I don't think it'll disappoint one bit.
Little fun fact: the final scene of that trailer, when it shows Loki wearing the political sticker, the Loki one, it's a fun little nod to the 4-part Vote Loki comic book series back in 2016.
Oh, that's cool.
Fun fact.
Okay.
Fun.
Cool, man. Didn't know that.